James, your host. Welcome to Vintage Bricks. We're looking at the designer set by Tyler Anderson that just came out, Forest Stronghold. It's all about the Forestmen. And the Forestmen, I have all the vintage sets in front of me here, and they really needed a home base for his band of merry men. Let's look at a little background of the Forestmen. Well, here's the guy who developed it, Taylor Anderson, in the designer series. And here's what he wrote here, that deep in Ogill Forest, there was this battle between some Black Falcon knights and Robin Hood and his merry men. And guess who came out on top? The merry men did. But they found all that gold. And who does that gold belong to? Well, let's take a look at the build, and maybe we'll get some answers here. And as we spin this around, we can see it is a tremendously beautiful set. Fits in well with the most recent sets that Lego's put out. And we'll take a look at the left tower first and some of the sections here. It's built up in at least 3 stories. And the bottom, there's the gold. It's a hoard of gold they forgot. That's kind of hard to believe. One put it downstairs and forgot it. Now this little guy's going to use the gold to buy some Lego sets. We know they're a little expensive these days. And Robin Hood, the head guy, he's now sleeping in luxury in this old fort. And let's take a look at the instructions here as we kind of get a little better view of it. One thing that might improve some of these rooms is to put some LED lights in there to lighten them up a little bit. So now we have the balcony and the top terrace there. And of course the zip line. This is like one of the features of the set that makes it just so clever. And the Forestmen can go back and forth all day. They just, but if they're tired, they can just walk across the bridge, or if they're, why not just walk on the ground across? So they got many ways to go from side to side there. Now the right tower, a little shorter, that makes the zip line go downhill. So I got that figured out. Downstairs, got this armory. They've rearmed it with Forestmen weapons. And nice little dining hall for the merry men to come in and have their daily meal. The kitchen's pretty well stocked. I like the kitchen. It was well done there. And a little storage off to the side on the second floor. Then there's an old prison, this prison guy has the best view out that window there. And then the top of the tower where the end of the zip line is there. And of course, since this is an old set in the forest, there are trees everywhere. Comes with 3 Black Falcons and the cart, which I'm sure that the Forestmen commandeer. Now, the 1980 sets help us understand this new set. So let's take a look at some of the older sets. And if you haven't seen all these sets, you might appreciate that too. So here's a Crusaders cart. And look, it has that forest guy hiding underneath it there. And so, the new cart is kind of based on that, a little more updated. Now, the first one that came out was in 1987, Camouflaged Outpost. And I think you can see how they built into the trees and into the rocks or fort and where they stored the gold. This is before they, had their giant castle. And the outfits look pretty similar to today, except they have little smiley faces. They were a happy group then. Okay, I put it next to our new one here, and you can see how the new one towers over it. So they're happy for the upgrade. The Forestmen's River Fortress. This is quite a bit like our current set. The Forestmen would take over these old castles and repurpose them. And that's how they could expand out in the forest. And it actually, blends in pretty well with their current one. And the River Forestmen's Crossing, this is an all-time favorite set of mine, 6071. It has the bridge. Oh yeah, it has the forest woman. And our new set has a forest woman. That was the woman on the zip line. So we got that matched up. And you can see how they match together. So somewhat similar thinking there. Now the Forestmen's hideout from '88 here was reimagined and redone again by Lego in 2022. So this is one that's already been, redone over and the new set, here it is. It's called the same, but it has that updated tree and a woman here too, which was nice. The other thing it has is that little arrow bullseye thing, this thing that you'll see in the new set too. So that was something repurposed in the new set. And again, look at that tree, because in our new set, the trees have gone wild. Trees gone wild in our new set. There we go. Smuggler's Hayride. These little carts were really nicely done, because they would be sneaking into town, doing their little mischief here. And here's the Crusader cart we saw earlier. And there's with the cart down. You could sneak your guy into town. He could get out, maybe get whatever he's up to, and get back. Then about 10 years later, they came out with the Dark Forest Forestmen. And this was the granddaddy set here of it. The thing that's interesting about this set, for our purposes, is they did put a skeleton up in the top of that tree. So it's similar to our current set, and they had these pretty much a little updated forestmen, which are horrendously expensive these days because they are, I guess, unique. And you can see they use these ladders, and you'll see ladders all over the new set too. So that's something, they know how to put those ladders on everywhere. Well, so what themes are left for the Lego world to put out for us? What new mega sets? And here's our current one with the Lowenstein Castle on the left. Okay, so let's go do a little history here. The classic castle sets came out in '78. And I would say the Lowenstein Castle is like the remake of a classic castle. Definitely it's a classic castle. Lion Knights, of course, we know this new set, the 10305 that came out in 22, almost 4,000 pieces, beautifully thought out set. That's a great one to pick up as your first, if you can. This Lion Knights Guardian was considered just a total classic, and it was remade recently as the medieval town square. Okay. Now the Black Falcons came out in '84 too, so we've been in the designer series, the Mountain Fortress, and here's one I haven't put together yet, so please subscribe, and you don't want to miss that when I review that, or the Castle in the Forest. Both of these are on my to-do list to get those reviewed and added. And then, of course, our Forestmen set, they've just reimagined that as the adult set we just did. And so you can look at how the sets all somewhat fit together there. So what sets are left to do? What themes are left? Well, from the Black Knights, Wolfpack, all the way to the Fright Knights. We got a whole lot of opportunities for people to submit those to the designer program. This one's coming out, I think, in August, a new Wolfpack set. So what a great time to be a Lego castle collector with all these new sets coming out. And if you get a chance, you can pick up some of these vintage sets or just enjoy them on YouTube and viewing them. Well, it's time to say goodbye for the week. Thanks for watching Vintage Bricks. Boy, there's a lot to this set. I'm going to try to put all this stuff back together and do a big diorama of the Forestmen. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.